I thought Donald Trump's performance was really good. He's more polished than he usually is, and that's really good. It makes him look better to the American people. It makes people understand him better. And I think all his points were good. He dissected everything point by point, and that's really good when you're trying to decide between two candidates for the most important job in the world.
I think he performed very well, especially compared to past debates. He's clearly learned a lot in his time in politics, and he knows what issues to focus on, such as our major immigration crisis going on our border.
What's going on, guys? So you've all seen this debate between Teflon Don and Joe Biden, where Joe got his cheeks clapped and could not compete whatsoever with Donald Trump. All right, so this guy has not been able to put his sentences together. He's been falling over. He was taking showers with his daughter. Okay, he's been sniffing girls, like his sons, and all of this trouble. Like, there's a lot of issues with Joe Biden. We got all these wars and encampments across all of these campuses going on, a bunch of money going to foreign affairs that have nothing to do with the United States. The economy is in shambles with the prices and in interest rates. Like, there's so many issues. It's shocking that people like are just now like seeing this. Like, I understand that everybody's not political, but the fact that people were surprised by these debate results is astounding. It's mind-boggling because there's so many clips out there, including that the mainstream media has reported, with Joe Biden falling up the stairs, falling on the stage, falling off his bike, stumbling, stuttering. It's like, where the hell have y'all been? But there's a brutal ad, in case you missed it for some reason, where Donald Trump's literally took clips from that debate and turned it into a brutal campaign ad. Take a look.
Both are making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare, we're finally providing housing for Black Americans. The impact on the choice, the idea that they're gonna, I've been proposing that everybody, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one I've not raised the cost of Social Security for anybody. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it stopped. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
This fool, Joe Biden, actually fell for this trap where Donald Trump goaded him into having a debate to begin with.
It's time for Crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, and I to debate. We have to talk about what he's doing and where we're going. We owe it to our country. We owe it to all Americans. Anytime, anywhere, anyplace.
And because Joe Biden didn't want to look like a little bitch, he agreed to it foolishly. He should have just punked out, and then he could have saved face. And a lot of people wouldn't have seen the true Joe Biden. They would have just put their head in the freaking sand, and that would have been it. Like, they wouldn't have known the truth, because I guess they're trying to hide from it. Like, they have the cognitive dissonance or something, where they're literally trying to ignore everything that we all can see with our own 2 eyes. But now it's been exposed, and more people are waking up to it, and the mainstream media is having to acknowledge it. And it has been glorious watching the liberal tears and meltdowns. Be sure to check out my previous 2 videos for that if you haven't seen it already, including the cackling hens on The View. So that video is getting pretty dang popular. That video pretty much blew up. But without further ado, I want to react to some Michigan voters, undecided voters, talking about what they believe or what they feel about the results of this latest debate. Let's get into it.
in Macomb County at Macomb Community College. It's a really important moment because, as you well know, this is a very important swing state. It went for Trump, then it went for Biden, but here in Macomb County, the votes actually went for Trump, and we were sitting with undecided voters to figure out what they were thinking. We got their reactions in real time, and there were some very consequential moments here. I want to begin, though, with everyone by giving a show of hands. I want to ask the people who are with me here today. Many of you came in undecided. In fact, most of you, by watching this debate, a show of hands, how many of you have now made up your mind? This is unbelievable to think about how impactful and influential.
There's about 2/3. There's a couple people who didn't say that they made up their mind.
This very moment was.
In my opinion, if they haven't made up their mind at this point, they're probably a bad voter, but it's their choice to make, I guess.
I want to get a sense from all of you. We were all watching the appearance of the two candidates. What did you make of how they both performed and the way that they were appearing in the camera and beyond? Who had a strong reaction, especially to the age component?
I would have to say, after watching the debate and watching how Biden handled himself and answering the questions, it reassured me of his unassurance, be able to lead our country. I'm concerned he's hesitant, very not cognitive. Seemed like his data, he was missing his numbers. So very concerning. That's somebody I don't think that needs to lead our country.
What that was, I can explain this to you guys. So Joe Biden went away, like he basically went into hibernation for like 7 days where they were trying to, I'm kidding, it was basically boot camp. And he was basically training for this debate. He was prepping for this debate. They were cramming a bunch of facts in his old feeble brain foolishly, because they just had no reason to do that. They did not allow him to keep it simple. If they would have kept it simple, he might have actually been able to somewhat perform here. But Joe Biden was so busy trying to remember all of these numbers in his head. It was probably like, yeah, he was having a glitch, a malfunction. And he could not do it. Donald Trump just kind of kept it real simple. Look, price is high, interest rates are high, there's weird LGBTQ stuff, wars everywhere. Like, I mean, come on, guys, wake up. Like, illegal immigration is bad. Like, that's pretty much all Donald Trump said, and that's all he had to say. And even with that, they try to say that he lied about it, which they were wrong about anything that they said Trump lied about. It was Joe Biden who lied about Charlottesville, about creating a bunch of jobs that were bounce back jobs for COVID. Joe Biden lied about the suckers and losers comment. He lies about everything, but they want to pretend like Donald Trump lies without saying what he ever even lied about.
Does anyone share that same opinion? A couple of you do. Who does not? Let me ask you.
One of the big things that a lot of people forget, when we are typically speaking in day-to-day life, we tend to stutter as well. So sometimes it will take time.
That's cap, you're on cap. That's cap, and you know.
Time to be able to think about what you're going to say. But regardless, when it comes to a strong leader and what we're looking for in a leader, I'm looking for somebody that I trust to be able to uphold policies that will protect me and are more concerned for the general well-being of everybody in the United States, which I got more from Biden, considering he did a lot more talking about policies, what he's done and what he plans to do.
This dude, Joe Biden, attacked Trump numerous times. He said he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's saying he hasn't done a damn thing. And he said those two lines over and over again. And then he called Donald Trump a sucker and loser. The only thing that we know for sure, we're never going to know for sure if Donald Trump made a comment about suckers and losers, which I don't think that he did. There's no evidence that he did. But one thing we do know for sure is that Joe Biden called Donald Trump a sucker and loser on camera.
He told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up. Just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking, it's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
So to say that he was focused on policy and Donald Trump wasn't is just false. Like, policy involves the economy and illegal immigration, things like that. Joe Biden was busy trying to attack Trump for being a convicted felon and having a bunch of charges against him.
Whereas on the other side from Trump, all I really heard was, I've done this and it was the best ever, but I never heard what it was.
The economy, illegal immigration, the pandemic. Like, he mentioned lots of things, like the black community, jobs. Like, what do you mean you never heard what it was? Were you paying attention?
Or I heard that Biden was the worst ever, but I never heard why. So there was a lot that was left unclear for me.
What?
So while he may have appeared like a stronger candidate, on paper, there was a lot missing in terms of actual debate.
This person is just a freaking Democrat operative, because there's no way you could say you didn't hear what Trump did that was positive, and you didn't hear what Joe Biden did that was negative. Like, illegal immigration, high prices, high interest rates, wars all over the world, protests all over the nation. Those are pretty big things. Those aren't like little asides, like just ignore that. No, those are pretty big things. Trump mentioned all of that. They asked questions about it. CNN asked questions about all of that stuff. Drugs, human trafficking, all like terrorism. These are big things. What do you mean you didn't hear? Was you this chick wasn't paying attention? She was asleep.
Why do you say so?
I would agree with that. And the rules of the debate were you could not bring notes or any written material, so I'd defy anybody to try to speak for 90 minutes and not forget some facts.
Wow.
And the fact that, he struggled with that. He's always had a stuttering problem.
Bro, stop making excuses for this man, yo. Like, well, it's okay to forget stuff. It's okay to stutter. Shut the F, bro. Okay.
Like she said, I think the leadership qualities are there.
You're talking about the president of the United States. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let the video play. But you're talking about the president of the United States and he can't speak properly? And you okay with, bro? That is stupid. Look, this video is making a lot of undecided voters look dumb, especially if they're out here trying to defend sleepy, creepy Joe Biden, cadaver Joe. It don't make sense. It's okay if you can't really speak. I mean, everybody can't speak. Everybody can't make it through 90 minutes of debates and not forget facts. You're the president of the United States. It's literally the #1 job in the nation. You shouldn't be forgetting ish. Don't forget nothing. You got to be kidding me with this.
Big moment as well in terms of a conversation about the felony convictions. As you know, there are 34 counts out of Manhattan for the former president of the United States. That was actually addressed today. I want to play for you all again and remind you of that moment.
He could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo.
Okay, so the lady, bear in mind, this lady toward the beginning, the second person, said she didn't hear what Joe Biden had done wrong. Here's something Joe Biden had done wrong. But people just ignore all of this. Come on.
How many of you heard that conversation between Trump and, of course, the debaters talking about the so-called weaponization of the government? Who believes and agrees with Trump here that he was only targeted because he was a political opponent of Biden?
Ding, 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 ding. It should be everybody. Like, hold on, how many people raised their hand? It should be everybody. They're like, y'all didn't raise y'all hands. Y'all are effing stupid and dumb, because they literally brought these charges. Like, they started talking about these charges around 2022, literally right after Donald Trump said he was running for re-election. All the stuff with Ron DeSantis with the whole don't say gay and book banning, all of that stuff just immediately just was thrown out of the window. And they was like, oh, we need to refocus on Donald Trump again. Ron DeSantis was public enemy #1 because they thought he was going to be the presidential nominee. He was such a great governor, of Florida. So they were focused on him. And then as soon as they found out, oh, he's back in it. Oh yeah, no. We're not having that. And they went after him ferociously, fraudulently with all of these trumped up charges, no pun intended. So to say that y'all don't think it was politically motivated, y'all got as many screws loose as Joe Biden.
Wendy, you kind of grimaced for a second as to that agreement. Why?
I definitely think that was a political move with the timing of how the charges were brought forward. And even the charges themselves. I'm sure there's many corporations who have employees who take care of the financial documents that write down a legal expense, and you just pay the bill. I mean, I wouldn't question every legal expense on a report, but that's a felony.
Let me ask you, Steve, as well on this point. You seem to be nodding along. What's your reaction?
I think that it's not so much the crime, it's the process, or the process leading up. They're trying to use up his time so he can't campaign, use his money, his resources to pay for legal fees.
Guys,
so
wake the hell up.
With Biden. I think that his mental acuity is a lot better than Biden's. Biden seems to be very tired. Actually, I'm tired of both of them because they just keep going back and forth, back and forth. We just need to get some younger people in there.
I mean, it's people on the come up, but we got to deal with where we're at today, brother.
Can I ask you who you thought won, Biden or Trump? Biden, show of hands, if you think he won the debate.
What?
Who thinks that Trump won that debate?
Oh my God! Wow!
Who's undecided?
No way. No, hold on.
Show of hands, if you think he won the debate.
They said that these are the Michigan voters. They said this is hilarious. Guys, this is perfect. And I'm going to tell you why. This means that the election is ours, okay? Because you got idiots out here who are still standing behind Biden irrespective of that horrific performance. This is one room of people. There's lots of people out there who are going to see that debate, and their hands is going to be like this. Even the mainstream liberal media is giving up on Biden. Even the cackling hens on The View are giving up on Biden. But because he's got some like cognitive dissonant supporters, because they got so many Trump deranged people out there, the DNC is going to be convinced that there's still hope, that there's still a way. Stuff like this is perfect because they're going to think that this is going to get them the numbers that they need, and it won't. Because when you actually talk to people who don't make it onto the freaking CNN panels, they'll tell you what it really is. Okay, this is perfect. Let me let them close out here real quick.
Who thinks that Trump won that debate? Who's undecided?
So you got one undecided person.
It's a really telling time, particularly in an area just like this, where those candidates are focused on an audience just like this. Could they persuade them? Could they make them decide? Tonight, many have already made up their mind as a result of what we saw.
I will say to some of the people who are saying that they thought Biden won that debate, this basically proves that they're on Biden's side no matter what, because Biden didn't do anything during that debate. They mentioned like one time where he attacked Donald Trump for a bunch of made up nonsense charges that were totally politically motivated. One of the guys who raised his hand and said he thought Biden won the debate, he admitted earlier, he raised his hand when they asked if the charges were politically motivated. He also raised his hand. So he knows that these charges are politically motivated, but he's standing behind crooked Joe Biden anyway. Talk about not having morals and ethics. But the fact that there's people like this means that they believe that there's still hope for Joe Biden, which is perfect because there's really not. The majority of Americans out here are not that politically active, but they do see stuff like a major debate between two political opponents. A lot of people just gonna sit on the couch and be like, nah, I think I'm good. This is ridiculous. Or I'm gonna vote for Trump. The prices are too high. I think a lot of people are gonna vote with their pocketbook, and they should. That's a great reason to vote for somebody, is because you believe the economy will be better. And you think less people from who knows where the hell around the world are going to be taking jobs that you and your sister and your son and daughter and all this stuff could be having, instead of just a bunch of randoms who don't even speak the damn same language as you, don't have the same values as you. Stuff like this is great. It really exposes a lot of the Democrats as basically being shills and pawns of the left, where no matter what nonsense they see from Sleepy Joe, even if he just stutters and lazy eyes his way through debates and we save Medicare whatever BS happens, they're gonna stand behind him no matter what. I told y'all on this channel multiple times that most likely Joe Biden will be the nominee. He won their rigged primaries where they didn't have anybody else on the ballot except for Joe Biden in a couple of the states, like around 10, 11 states. They had nobody except for Joe Biden. Florida didn't even have a primary at all. They just like, screw it, it's Joe Biden, right? So they already have him as a nominee. That's who the people wanted, the Democrat voters wanted. It was the incumbent. Now they're going to have to get smoked by Teflon Don. It's the only way. The rematch is inevitable. It's going down, and they're going to get their ass kicked. I can't wait. So be on the lookout for the DNC convention. I think it's in, August? So Republicans is next month in July, like literally 2 weeks away. It's going to be Donald Trump, of course, nominee. Democrats are going to nominate Joe Biden. I'm telling you, I'll be willing to take bets on this that it's going to be Joe Biden, and he's going to get his butt whooped, just like he did during this debate. It's going to be the same thing because voters are tired of the high prices in illegal immigration, the high interest rates, and all of the freaking protests around all of America. They're tired of this nonsense. People out here shouting death to America. It's totally ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Before the debate, were you leaning towards Biden, Trump, or undecided?
Probably leaning towards Biden.
After this debate, how do you feel?
Without a home.
These two women say they are strong Biden supporters, but watching the debate was difficult.
I was concerned, very, very concerned about Biden's real ability to carry this nation forward, just from a physical perspective.
Do you feel the same way?
Yes.